you need to charge your phone. So with us, how many minutes or hours do you need to sleep before your battery goes to full to be able to go on with your daily activity? For Penny4 from 18 to 64, we recommend 7 to 9 hours of sleep. I mean, it's a range. If you can't make 9 hours because of a Juma, at least get 7 hours of sleep. That is how you can achieve the things na yaka ho asem dada no. Also from 14 to 17 years, we recommend 8 to 10 hours of sleep. So you can see that in between there, anything between 7 to 10 hours is very much okay. So it's also about consistency. It's not say a Monday, manya 7 hours sleep, or Tuesday, manya 3 hours. That's not how it works. We all have phones and we know our battery health. And it depends on how fast, the number of times and the consistent way we charge them. If you don't charge them well, your lithium battery depreciates in percentage and the health. Same with the human body. If you don't have enough consistent sleep, that's what happens to your health too. So maintaining a regular sleep schedule, even on weekends, reinforces your body's natural sleep-wake cycle. It helps, say, a catcher say, okay, so we'll talk about it in the subsequent one. So there's something called sleep hygiene. It's not always about mintimin 90 mihia sleeping tablets. That's not the first thing. The first thing is something we call sleep hygiene. Say, wo yeti hase nyati room hase no. We are comfortable because room temperature is okay. We are well clothed, and there's also a way we need to condition ourselves before and during sleep to be able to, let us say, benya maximum and quality sleep. So sleep hygiene refers to the practices and habits necessary for having good night's sleep, quality and full daytime alertness. Okay, so cultivating healthy habits. These are daily routines and choices that significantly influences your ability to fall asleep, stay asleep, wake up feeling rested. Said the kind of conditions now. Bema words me akodaye. During your sleep, you stay asleep and relaxed. Oh, sorry, so I say, oh, and then the madam I'm why they told me. So it's also about the environment. With them, and it enhances your sleep quality too. So healthy sleep habits. Then you bet me na aye kama. Okay, so our brain has a clock. So to say the alarm, no, that's how our brain also works when it comes to sleep. So you need to maintain a regular schedule. Go to bed and wake up at the same time every day, even on weekends, to regulate your body's internal clock. Say, what me yes say oda 10 p.m. Not the other 10 p.m. About 10 p.m. Your brain tells you that it is time for sleep. And it's easier for you, if you cultivate that habit, to be able to go to sleep at the same time every day. Because we can see, say, oh, time I would say, mom here night shift, and so call night bar, Timusa no panena, and say, and you marry no. It's quite different because your brain is not, it's not used to you sleeping during that morning, no, and you staying very much awake at night. It's confused, kakra. So nano, it's me. The fact say what brain, that gives you the opportunity to sleep, but your brain is not in agreement with you. You also need to limit stimulants and alcohol. So we need to avoid caffeine and excess alcohol, especially in hours leading up to bedtime, as they can disrupt sleep cycle. So there are some chemicals caffeine can affect our brain, and caffeine can stay in your body for up to 6 to 8 hours. So you might have taken the caffeine or coffee, all those caffeine containing drinks, in the afternoon, late afternoon, and you still have the effect in the evening, and it will disrupt your sleep. Okay, so also when we talk about meals too, yeah, pesi edi banku ansa ne ada no. Say opese odi say aduane ansa no ada. Sometimes you'd both say obohihye o to hope na obohihye nzo etimi ama quality of sleep so ate. So ideally you need to sit up for 2 hours. Sa no na your oyefunu no ede nnuane nyina akọ intestine, so I mean it doesn't come back to your esophagus na ama ubona ede ashisho. So I mean that is another one when it comes to food and all this. And also establishing a relaxing ritual. So wind down with a calming activity like reading, a warm bath, or gentle stretching before heading to bed. So even though we recommend exercise, we do not recommend exercising at night because it can disrupt your sleep. Yeah, I can say you need to be calm and relax before you sleep, because exercise here it increases your heart rate. You are supposed to be in a relaxed state when you want to sleep. But because your brain tells you that you're very active and sleep becomes very poor. Okay, so what is ideal room? I say order, because say them kind of you are comfortable because of the way the room temperature is, the way you are clothed, and all that. Let's look at what's an ideal bedroom supposed to be like. So it needs to be dark, quiet, and cool. You're all Ghana no say a show bar. So you can say, hey, in a bedding. But say I walk back a cry, Hamatani bar, to me dark ama Namboa. Now of course now that AC be more. Seems like to manu crew who time I be no other. So that tells you say room temperature matters, because you look at the change in temperatures now, it helps us with sleep. And the ideal one is 15 to 19 degrees Celsius. That is very much ideal. Say even if you thermostat, it goes down and then it stays at these kind of temperatures. Now then to manakata and you feel better and you sleep better. And the room needs to be dark and quiet. You also need to invest in comfort. The mattress you sleep on also matters very much. The pillow you use. The pillow be hard to show tiasia. Body no what's wrong because now say it's very much uncomfortable. But sorry now it's very much also important. So investing in comfort is something that is also key. And your screen time. So ideally, part of the things that's supposed to be in the room or not supposed to be in a room is a TV. Room is you're supposed to be able to condition your mind. Say room no for not for anything else. So them, as you said, it needs to be dark. It needs to be quiet. And before you go to sleep, less than an hour before you go to sleep, you're not supposed to be on your phone. Say them can say no. I say clock no. Alarm next will be set. There's something called melatonin. If you've had difficulty sleeping, you might have taken some before. Phone no emits something called blue light. This blue light no disrupts melatonin no, and then it disrupts your sleep. So you need to stay off your phone an hour before you sleep. The room is just for sleeping. Dark, quiet, temperature, eda. And these are the things you're supposed to do in your room. So sometimes, over to me, I what them lights. there are two temperature no. Our mattress here the best we have in Canada. On show phone so before you go to bed, but still na in nano and optimum. So when do you have to see your doctor when it comes to sleep challenges? And these are some of the things. So there are things that can prevent us from sleeping. So when to see your doctor, so persistent sleep trouble. So if you consistently have difficulty falling or staying asleep for several weeks, it's time to consult a professional. So why is anima we nyina so na ne ma menye honum self-medicated because there could be a whole lot of things that could be causing it. If very big sleep apnea, maybe uda say what da pan and so best around upon na still wabre, bet me at 12 hours. Bet me at 24 hours, still best or no wabre because so uda or neck muscles no relax. Untimi home ye oxygen in cold brain or body mo to best or no wabre. And no and yes sleeping tablets and na eye ho adwuma. There's so many things. There are other things you need to take care of to be able to sleep well. So that is part of it. And I say, Oda obi akache say, hey, Oda snoring, uhan kromo too much. I say, Obi will next 2 blocks away cry, they can hear you. And after you wake up, wabrea, that's also another time to consult a professional. And say, Oda, nase still, anopa, osan felice wenikuma. That could also be that you're not getting quality sleep. And if it's continuous, you need to see a doctor about it. So, our key take-homes. Sleep, it's not something we can do without because our phone, you can't do without the battery being charged. Same with sleep. Sleep recharges us and gives us energy, so it's very much essential. So small changes make big impacts. Our bedroom, like our phone, so our share before, so better, all makes good impact. So even minor adjustments to your sleep habits and environment can lead to significant improvement in your rest. And if you do all these things, stick to the things we've mentioned, and still na who say niema nano end to year, you just need to see your doctor. They're always there for you, and they're always there to help. Thank you. See more questions. Be our doctors a kukudam bebre THO will answer all the questions. Thank you very much.
Look, you move in more and to mean that you're far a draw answer. Yada. Now, yes, you're there. A yamay and I said to say Yemeni Paduano and I and yet.
Okay. So, as I mentioned earlier, no, say sometimes a drone you might need the medication, but that's not the first thing. So the kind of small habits makes a difference. I don't know what your habits before so how your work schedule is. So if let's say you do a 12-hour shift, you get home at 9:10, you're supposed to stay off your phone for an hour. Now, do a feel 9, 10. Stay off your phone an hour. You're not supposed to be eating 2 hours before your sleep because it also gives you heartburns. Your room temperature, your room environment, is it quiet? Is it dark enough? These are things you need to have a look at before we go to the medication. But we say, oh, I'm staying away from my phone. I'm not drinking any caffeine, any coffee, any caffeinated drinks before sleep. Like, as I said, it can stay in your system for 6 to 8 hours. So maybe you might have taken the coffee in the afternoon, but we were bedroom fear no coffee need as your home. So you might think, say, oh, coffee no me actually, but it might be the coffee. So you need to have a look at the things you do leading to your sleep, and your environment you are sleeping in. Is this something over there? Your phone to sign in the dark, because as I said, the kind of phone emit blue light. It goes straight to your and your melatonin won't work. If you have a donor edema and some are short acting, some are just helping to be able to build up the melatonin to be able to help our brain tell us that we need to sleep. But your brain itself has some. So these are some of the things you need to do. But sometimes medications are needed. It's not for a long-term thing. It's something short-term together with this sleep hygiene. So it's not something you need to take alone, because you can take a whole pack of melatonin. If you're not getting the right sleep hygiene, you won't get a quality sleep. Don't know if he answers this or anybody else has something else to add.
Question. So talking about sleeping 7 to 9 hours daily, I wanted to find out if it's supposed to be a continuous sleep, or you can sleep a little bit after work and then later in the evening you add, say, the 4 hours to it.
So this 7 to 9 hours doesn't count your naps as part of your sleep schedule. As I said, it has to be consistent and it has to be scheduled. So your 7 to 9 hours has to be your nighttime sleep. Yes, so it's not the naps you take are just, if I say battery or 20%, PA, 2% charging a fast now DPA. That is not part of your charging your battery to full. So yeah, 7 to 9 hours in a day, you need it, and it needs to be continuous.
Dr. Mediano, so me pacho me konya zenti bi o adwuma mu nti me da ya na me tumi na nti me bi wa me da be 2 hours bi wa 3 hours nti me ko me doctor hozo so a wo say fa adbe ene talano isu so yeso no so a unya fish we yemu anase bibi eteta nti makoso amanom adwe ne saa na se talano no saa.
Okay, so in relation to sleep any pain, so what is keeping you up at night near say baby ya intina enyano no if say sanity
me Philippine a e ma me ntumi na
amount me
nti no say me Philippine a ya me nom Advil and Tylenol.
So the effect of the Tylenol and the Advil, when you're taking it continuously, I don't know how many times in a week, in a day, on your pain, and how many times you have to take your Advil. If it's every day, say an ajubia, enough for you to take both Advil and a Tylenol. So the effect of Advil, so different from what Tylenol 2 does to you. And you don't have to take both Tylenol and Advil together. It depends on who pain or say the AL. So let's say say da na say na ma na say na to me da, it's fine. You don't have to take the Tylenol and Advil. But even if when the pain comes, I would suggest you take the Tylenol first. If it doesn't wear off, you take the Advil, but it doesn't have to be every day. And sometimes to the mattresses that supports your back. So say they kind of it's comfort so here. So it might be maybe your back not being supported enough on your bed. So you might also have to look at home panel. Now I say there are some mattresses that can really support your back. You can have a look at that too. I my pain, the frequency of the pain is so better. But as to what is causing the pain, your family doctor would be able to tell you if there's any other thing apart from, say, medications. No, if there's something that it's managed right now with medications in Kwandia, I mean, you need to say the not every day, but also try and see if you get a different mattress. If your mattress you think it supports you better, you speak to him and then you find other options that would help long term. So that's Pachuati de Mekanase. Anybody with any?
Yeah, may add it to the Okari SCano. Family physician, so one country say a drama on Maninji Hua, Abiana one card alternative Sancho. So the end say a pain, long term pain management options or be a physiotherapy, we don't discuss a acupuncture or Cairo, so called a bit to manage pain. And I say, maybe I'm not now person but obviously I recommend it be out the best house one, or the best spray area. So we don't have that discussion. We'll be over say one protest here, or more the other alternatives are available.
Sometimes as students, the exigencies of the time, you will not be able to get like your 7 hours and 9 hours of sleep. So, this is first of all, offer stimulants, and caffeinated drinks. Now, what does it really do to your body to help you to stay awake? Does it suppress the melatonin secretion? And I say, what does it do? And what is the long-term effects for continuously taking caffeinated drinks to stay awake, learn and all those things? So,
okay. So, caffeine and the stimulants basically. So, there's something we call parasympathetic and sympathetic. So, flights, say, we am sure when you be now episode no akuma airborne term. That's what caffeine does to you and the stimulants. And that's not the state you want to be in when you're sleeping. You need to be in a relaxed state. And that is what your body needs. So the stimulants push you in that effect. It puts you in a, how do we call it? As a, we am shisho, or sometimes no caffeine, baby. I don't know if you've drank it enough to feel that way, because, okay. So, it doesn't only affect your brain, it affects your brain, yes, in the sense that also affects your heart rate. You don't need to exercise at night because it will do the same thing to you. So, won't exercise, but you feel very much on edge, like you're ready for action. That's what the stimulant does. And you need to be in a relaxed state. That's one thing about the stimulant, and that's what it does to you. And you do not want your heart's always being paced. Say that but basically you're going above your heart rate threshold near there, going above 100 and all those things. You don't want that. So that's what the stimulant does to you. And you need your brain to relax sometimes. You don't want your brain to always be active. You need to relax and have your energy back. When it comes to also school and everything, you need to, I know it's difficult and everything, there's a whole lot to cover. But you also need to make time for the sleep, because I said it helps with your memory, retention. You'd stay up for 24 hours. What you retain won't even be up to 10%. As to if you are able to have rest, now say, back to books now, you'd be able to retain a lot more than you staying up to read. Unless maybe you are Carl XY and then your whole brain retains more than the normal human being, then that's different. But yes, that is what science backs. I don't know if
maybe can Dr. Butcher dear no. Caffeine, Emma, said kind increase your heart rate, Emma Wakuma, Ebo, and your blood pressure and so determinants. Or heart rate, any the effect in total peripheral resistance, or blood vessels, so and I say, so inside Nusa, a determine or blood pressure. And the similar no say continuously wakuma no bo faster. Or blood pressure directly proportional to heart rate. So caffeine no air what na say there, but then increase your blood pressure. That is indirectly so increase your heart rate, indirectly increase your blood pressure and so in the long term you will graduate with distinction. Now what's your graduate with high blood pressure?
Okay, maybe I have more questions. You can't sleep, maybe say obi a adwuma na say obra before the time I dedicated to obeda be a numero obeda no. What would be the advice? Should there be like a timer or also take compulsory naps? I say bibisa or what are we able to apply that in church? Say ba sorry. Sorry kakani abra yen breaking na yen kwadamra. I just want to understand say and any sleep is there a required time for naps as well?
Okay, so when you presented Dr. Victor, I can say rest no and yet only sleeping. So sometimes you can just close your eyes for some few minutes. Or you will feel a bit more refreshed. So the continuous sleep of 7 to 9 hours one thing, and taking short breaks from whatever you are doing also another thing.
Okay, so also to add on, I mean, it needs to be scheduled. Said the kind, these naps and these rests are not part of the whole sleep you are talking about. You need to tell your brain, say, time as soon say meda, which is 9 p.m. 9 p.m. be a meda. But as to say, if you use computers a lot and also computers sometimes are no any once when eyelid need twitch it. It tells you that you need to take breaks. Yeah, so I mean those are just rests, part of the whole rest, said the doctor.
More follow up on the can say your body adapted to near man like say say about 12 na meda. My end for a very long time. Maybe based on the nature of my work, right? And it's a say made that 12 and 12. My body is always okay to have just 4 hours of sleep. 12 to 4. Now I'm sorry, it's me normal. It's body I used to that partner. Is it wrong? And number 2, so say, can you just because of the maybe bibinti, I can say in a whole year, maybe for the first 3 months and after some period, so one should in 7 to 9 at the Bonebe pan a year is it okay to just maybe just 3 out of 12, but the other remaining months you keep doing? So 2 questions.
Okay. So the first one, I mean, it's if you decide to go to bed at 12, that's fine. Every time there's something we call circadian rhythm. Your brain, it tells. So there's a part of the brain that needs to be stimulated when it comes to sleep. So when you follow that rhythm, it's stimulated at 12. So if that is something you've been doing, you see that 12 boy and but to be able to get your full energy back, you need a 7 to 9 hours. So you're doing well that you're sleeping every time at 12. But what is not helping is for your health and to feel refreshed and very active during the day, you're supposed to have 7 to 9 hours. The 4 might be doing the work because your body has become quite used to it, but that is not ideal. The second question was about...
Just 3 months.
Yes. So we mentioned consistency. Consistency is key to your sleep habits, because if you do it for the first 3 months, your brain needs to readjust, and then you go back 3 months again and your brain needs to adjust. Now, your first 3 months, you put a whole lot on your heart itself, on your immune system. As we said, sleep helps with your immune system, and on your memory in general. So 3 months of poor sleep and the rest of the years of good sleep won't make up for the poor sleep. So it needs to be consistent, and you need to do it continuously. Good habits don't make up for your bad habits made previously.
Okay, maybe we can Dr. Boche there no. The number of hours are you here to sleep no? Directly proportional to your age. Say it's during sleep and growth and a repair it take place pa. And this open who work for or that a lot of hours and a union time so. But say only no. Now hours requirement now we here to sleep no na form because rate of growth no so form. So we can say 3 months, me sleep no end the optimum. I had to say, you want to suspend repairs. 3 months, I don't want my body to get repaired. I said, what car no I can say, for this month, I don't want to maintain the car. So, I mean, it's difficult to implement it, but we will risk and.
Yeah. So I wanted to find out how often should we take breaks during the day, and then because I don't know, sometimes we mistaking that for laziness. Yeah. So I want to find out how often should we take breaks in between our works.
Okay, so ideally, within every hour, you should have like 5 to 15 minutes break. Our brain can concentrate for maximum of 45 to 60 minutes. And then you start to, especially when you're doing very active things, you say, after 45 minutes, 1 hour, no to say, why do you need to say now, you know. So you need to take at least like 5 to 15 minutes break and revisit it. So that's how often you're supposed to take breaks. Said there, Victor can or say rest is you can just close your eyes, relax. I mean, meditate, some kind of quietness or whatever thing, and then take some time off before you revisit it. Because after an hour maximum, you start to drift off. So that is a good way to also see things. Any other?
Dr. Mpacho, a question. And Diana, yeah, courses are there. Also, more times, there's a wolf here. There's a one called baby, or to me, also one break. Uhienda, Obedao. But after Ndano, Obeswari, still a Timpacho, Diana, and also a courses are there.
Okay, so it could be a lot of things. Said here, first, can I say there's something we call sleep apnea. That's also something, I mean, but usually happens in people who are quite or more weight kakra, or more neck muscles no relaxes. They don't get enough oxygen to their brain and to their body. So obeda dodo na still na, but it's not only to people or more weight. Even slim people sometimes have it. Also, it's about said here. So fear. It's assumed you're watching a lot of television and you're on your phone a lot of times. And said there can blue light no. A call wide remove P. So your body, you are unconscious, but your brain is not relaxed. Why do you very active? And once your brain is active, your whole body, you're not in a relaxed state. So there's a relaxed, the parasympathetic and sympathetic part of things. Your brain is supposed to be in the relaxed form. But if you don't, your brain is still active during sleep. But sorry, I said yeah, so sleep is just not about you going unconscious and you lying down. No, it's about your body and your brain. Those are the two things. So these are some of the things that could cause you to feel very tired after, say, a WADA long hours. I don't know if anybody has anything else.
Okay, let me also find out. As you said, you are required probably 7 to 9 hours sleep a day. Now, let's say consistently, like Ada was saying, yours is 4 hours, 5 hours, instead of the 7 or 9 hours. Average every day, 4 hours or 5 hours. Now you want to get your 7 or something. What will you do so that 2-3 hours lost, you can get it? Because some people struggle to get the sleep.
So the 7 hours there, if you'd be able to get your 7 hours, it's ideal. But sometimes a Juman 70, a being to me, yes, sir. But that is the ideal thing. And so you can't just pick just the 7 hours part of it, and then it's about the habits. So the ekano. Open a Juma time be obedru fee time be now didi, time be now koda, and yani be now di before sleep. What are your habits before sleep? Osho phone so by TV your brain, the light is going to your brain. Oko room no so room no what's your lightness is so or how you quiet. And I say, is there anything that's relaxing you? Or room temperature? All those things are things that can put you to sleep. So it's just not isolating the 7 to 6 hours, because you can have the 7 hours to 9 hours, but it won't be quality. It will still feel, say, I said, the 4 hours, so it's about the whole habit. Having an ideal room, having the right attitude before sleep. So you need to watch your habits before, say, and your room temperature. So they're kind of putting it between 15 to 19, having good beddings, having a quiet room, having a dark room. Would put you to sleep. But so sometimes, even if you can't get 7 to 9 hours and you're able to do these things very well, your 6 hours will feel very much refreshing. So sometimes you can't. But you free a banana about 9. You be there, no better than a cry. Wait me, I say, na time. Cause sorry, I no pass so if you're able to add these habits to sleeper, your 6 hours will feel very much enough. But the ideal is 7 to 9 hours.
Okay, doctor, requesting the email.
Okay, can you also, in a way, to get the hours lost, the room condition, you've done everything. Alternatively, is rest part of sleep for which you can use to complement the hours lost?
The rest is not part of the 7 to 9 hours. So you need to, you can rest in between, but the sleep there, you need it.
Sorry, so I just want to add that you can always retrain your body. You are doing 4 hours every night, and then for whatever reason now you've come into a lot of time, and so you can sleep for 7-8 hours. You have to retrain your body. How do you do that? Naturally, because you've been doing 4 hours, in the initial phases, it will be difficult because you naturally wake up. Maybe you wake up at 4 a.m. to go to work. And so when you sleep at 12, you wake up at 4. Now you want to wake up at 8. But at 4 a.m., your eyes will open because that's how you've set your biological clock. And so what you do is that when you wake up, you remind yourself that you're not going anywhere and you can sleep in just a little bit more. And so try to go back to sleep. And so if you keep doing that for some time, your body would notice that, we are going under another form of training. Or if you were sleeping at 9 p.m., now you can move it back by an hour and now start sleeping at 8 p.m. And so things like that will help your body adjust to the new clock that you want to set.
Okay, doctor, my question is no. You can na. So one na. And then what is the implication? At last. My next question is Mr. Yenipa met me at that 12 hours, 13 hours. But I told her business even 6 hours. And yes, be a may quite do but me de job 15 hours krameda. But se be a may quite do na se be na me stay late here, between 6 hours. No sir, no meet me that long anyway, no still a balance and answer imbalance.
All right, so growing up, I'd always asked why God did not kind of create a sleeping bank for us, so that if I'm busy or back Canada first and I wasn't working, and I would literally just eat and sleep. So I just keep piling sleep into my sleep bank. Then when I'm very busy and I'm not working, then God will be deducting from there. And it would have been very nice. But then, if you think about your car, okay, only Dr.Ohene, the same car, the same day. Now say, Dr.Ohene using a car 4 hours a day and parks it for 20 hours, okay? And then you use yours continuously for 20 hours a day and you park it for 4 hours. Between those two cars, which one will last longer? So basically to say that if the body needs ongoing rest, until one da, you increase the wear and tear, okay? And you don't allow the body to repair itself. Naturally, the body repairs itself. And you do that by sleeping and giving the body time to do that. In doctor's presentation, okay, I say, don't eat heavily before you sleep. Otherwise, you will not feel refreshed. Because the brain is your powerhouse. The brain directs everything that you do in the body, consciously or unconsciously. So, then I go to sleep. The intestines have to digest that food, but the direction to digest it is coming from the brain. But your brain is working, your stomach is working. And so if you keep doing that, then you don't give your body time to rest and heal itself. And so that's the reason you need consistent 7 to 9 hours of sleep. Granted, we are human beings, and so naturally there are times that you will not be able to get that time. But as much as possible, the purpose of this teaching is that we should try to be consistent. Your body will not heal itself. Your immune system will not be strong enough. And for Yanvan say, you order out 7 to 9 hours every day, maybe 3 hours every day. If we are hit by the same disease, I will feel it more because I don't sleep enough. My body doesn't have a very strong immune system.
Okay, so Doc, my last question. Do we have oversleep?
Well, so everything has its own good and bad. There's a recommended for sleep. As you said, your brain has a clock, the circadian rhythm. You need to sleep, wake up, and even if you need to sleep again, you need to wake up and be active so that your brain knows that okay, this person sleeps from this time to this time. Juma, ISA. So that's, your body just needs that much of you to repair. And apart from the repair and apart from your brain being able to figure your sleep pattern out, it also doesn't help you when it comes to you being in bed every day. It's wow, heart health. That's all. Sorry, now exercise kakra. So that's that 15 hours, 16 hours. Time ben abenya. I exercise. I say 30 minutes of medium intensity exercise. And the more you sleep, depending on your age and everything, you put yourself, veins no, it moves against gravity. And you do not want your blood staying in your veins for that long. It will clot and it will cause you problems. So you need to get up and move around too. So yes, there is a downside to sleeping for a longer hour.
Yeah, so just to add to that, you realize that those omanya stroke na muntimi movie or hospital on a cry, you more drobi to thin their blood so that they don't get clots in their body. And so if you sleep more than you are supposed to do, what happens is that at some point you are not exercising the body enough, and so whatever calories or energy that you have in your body begins to store. And that is why some people say that they sleep and they gain weight. And so you gain weight, like he's saying, if you keep gaining weight, it's not good for your heart. It's not generally good for your body. And blood is able to move from our legs up into our heart because when we move, the muscles press against the vessels, the blood vessels. You don't have that benefit. You see, mojane eba onaima oda ho enwa intimen ko back. And when blood stays in one place for long, it clots. So then you form a clot. And that's why in the hospital, we give them things to thin their blood. Otherwise, they'll form clots. Until you are always lying in bed, you are likely to form clots. And when a clot travels into your lungs, it's trouble for you. And so, nothing is really good unless possessed in moderation. Even though we are encouraging you to sleep, we are not saying you should do it overly.
Masimbisa. Mpachomitimikasa. Okay. Every year health program say the OD advices say kobampo sa won't mean na up to the hours or the amawa. Especially no kasachiri students say ubo sorry dia dantem no sorry ahmachi na make sure senka order before 12 midnight between 11 and 3 and no yes and say 12 babo and sana wada. How true is that or was that? My first question, no. My second question is how many hours do I need after taking my supper or whatever food? How many hours do I need to wait and sana ma go to bed?
Oh,
okay. All right. And then Pacho yam fan to
okay, don't
no,
worry. You answer it, don't worry.
No, me personal, no problem on that, but I thought everybody needed it. So, you answer there.
You answer it again, don't worry.
All right, okay.
Answer first one, no second one.
So, the first question was about
before 12.
The time 11. That you should sleep before 12 rather than. I think it is more about the sleeping environment as opposed to the time that you sleep. And so if you can create an environment where the atmosphere is very conducive for sleep, you can sleep at any time. It doesn't really matter what time you sleep. When I think a few months ago, I was in Madagascar on a ship, and I don't know whether it's fortunate or unfortunate. My cabin was in a place where there was no window. In Timira, my cabin hona man so lighter. The place was as dark as night, and so if I want to sleep, I just put off the light, and I can sleep at any time of the day, and it's like night. Whereas when I was in medical school, I went to Germany for exchange during summer. And by 10:30, now after like sunset was coming. And so sunset in Suba, I still have to wait maybe another 2 hours. In my brain, it's like sunset. I've been about 6, into 8 and sanamada. So it's the way we condition ourselves, the atmosphere, rather than the time itself. And so if I can sleep after 12, say sleep at 1, and then wake up at 8, that's good. I know that in Canada, in the UK, some people do twilight shifts. Obekwe we are 3, now upon at 11. If you do 12 abo. And so if you have something like that, you can sleep after 12 and still wake up around 8 or 9, and you are fine. So it's really about the environment, not the time itself.
So also, the person that led might have said that because, as we said, the melatonin that stimulates our sleep, if it be melatonin or your dream, it's very much secreted when at night. That's why we recommend dark rooms, because once it gets to the night, around that time he recommended before 11, that's when there's a lot of melatonin secreted by the brain. Almost say make hay while sun shines. So whilst your brain is making that melatonin at that time, why not sleep at that time? So that's what supports it. But as we mentioned, you need to train your brain to be able to tell you that this is the time I can go to bed. But if you have the luxury of doing that before the 12, that's fine. But if you don't, just train your brain to know that this is the time, because that's why we say dark room at night and a dark rooms, because that's when your brain is able to secrete a lot of those melatonin to be able to help you sleep better.
Okay.
Hey, sorry. And second one about Adriano, 2 hours before sleep, because gastric phones here 1 hour. So gastric emptying takes place in 2 hours.
For question be more one. Okay, Bebana, the announcement be my name for question into us.